Hi everyone, Josh from Finetic EDC here to quickly show you how you can change the mode or change the bearing on your new Tide pool. I have the acrylic version with me this afternoon, and man oh man, I am loving this new material. It's the first time I've ever worked with acrylic. Now, in terms of tools that you're going to need the little lighthouse that we included and a toothpick or some other sort of thin rod that makes putting these springs back in a lot easier. And I brought the top of the tin with me, that way I don't lose the balls. Now, we're going to grab the lighthouse tool, and you can see on the top we have a little 4-ish millimeter hex tool, and we're just going to use this to break the seal on that bottom screw. Once the seal is broken, you can just use your finger to unscrew it the rest of the way, like so. And once that is completely unscrewed, we can go ahead and just push on the top to knock out the screw. Make sure the Tide's top is facing down. That way, when you separate the two halves, the balls don't immediately go flying everywhere. Once they're separated, you can then take the top part and flip it over 180 degrees to dump out these springs and balls. Now, the little silver piece is a stainless steel socket head screw, so just make sure that stays tight. Now, in terms of the base, you can see there's a little tiny housing that has 2 grooves on each side. That's what the bottom of the little lighthouse is for. We can go ahead and insert this little edge into those grooves to be able to loosen or tighten this housing. Same deal for this piece. We just need to use the tool to break it if it's really tight and unscrew the rest by hand. The bearing is not glued in or anything. It's just held in via pressure of the top and bottom. So once it's unscrewed, it'll just fall right out. We're just going to flip it over and put it back in. Obviously, we don't need to change the bearing right now. I just wanted to show this in case your bearing does need to be changed. Maybe you want to try some hybrids, maybe a different type of bearing, or the bearing has gone bad and you need to replace it. Now, to put it into free spin mode, we can leave all the balls and springs out, just reassemble it like so, starting with the top and screwing in the bottom. Because there's no balls and springs, we can actually hold the bottom screw and then just rotate the top to tighten it down and use the tool to give it one more final tighten. And there we go. Now you can see we are in free spin mode, which is a favorite by a lot of our customers. But I'm going to put my personal unit back into clicker mode. So we're just going to follow the same instructions for separating everything by loosening that bottom screw and separating the two halves. You can see that bottom screw gets stuck every now and then, especially with the acrylic. It might just be the heat. Here in Arizona, it is crazy hot this afternoon. Now we're going to place the top part flat on a surface. That way we can easily work with this. This is where this rod or toothpick comes in handy, is we can kind of feed it through the center of each spring, make sure it's on there, and then just let it fall into the top holes. Again, the heat is really messing with my ability to do this. It's not that hard at all. I make it look a little bit harder than it is, but I've done this hundreds and hundreds of times, and my hands are starting to get sweaty with this 115-degree weather. Once you have all 4 springs installed, I find it easier to just take the tin, make sure my hand has no gaps in it, and dump all 4 balls and just lift them off one at a time and place them on top of each spring. It's a lot easier than trying to get a ball that's going to be rolling around on a surface of the tin or on some other surface. Now at this point, you want to make sure you don't smack the top or anything at all. Of course, right here, I shake a little bit and I knock them back off, so we have to just replace them down. Now, once we get the top on, we're going to take the bottom screw and just give it a couple quick turns. This way that we can lift the Tide off the surface and finish tightening it down with our finger or the tool. You don't have to use our little lighthouse tool. This is mainly just to get you started in case you don't have a 4mm. It works fine, but completely user preference. If you are using a metal hex or Allen key, be careful with these acrylics. Obviously, acrylic is not as durable as something as stainless steel or some of the other metals that we offer the Tide in, so just be careful. We don't want to damage those threads at all. Once we get it all nice and tightened, we can do, again, one more final tighten with the tool, and that is it. Back into clicker mode, mine goes, and I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you need any assistance or are looking to buy a Tide pool for yourself, you can head to FineticEDC.com. Thanks again, everyone. See ya.